Welcome to week 5 of the Cozy Ugly collection, where each week we draw something that is cozy and imperfect to put on the table. And by the end of 12 weeks, the table will be full. And so this week, we're creating a placemat. And this is for the alienified eggs that we created last week, where the yolks spilled everywhere. And so, I thought we all need that kind of support like the placemat when the yolks get all spilled and get imperfect. And so I'll show you how. If you're interested in creating this with me, please keep watching. You can grab watercolor paper, and I'm starting by lightly sketching the outline of the placemat using a colored pencil. I decided to make mine in a loose parallelogram shape. It doesn't need to be exact, and I highly recommend using your non-dominant hand. This helps you become less focused on control. And so I'm using brown, orange, white, and dark brown today because those colors feel grounding and cozy to me. But you can choose whatever colors feel supportive to you. Here, I'm wetting the paper first with water using a brush. I'm loosely dropping the paint onto the wet paper and letting it spread naturally. And while I'm doing this, I'm trying to let go of the expectation that it needs to become something impressive. I think a lot of us carry this pressure to justify our creativity. Like if we're going to spend time making something, it should at least turn out good. But what if creativity could also just be regulating? What if it could simply be a way to spend time with yourself differently? A way to slow down enough to notice texture, color, pressure, movement. That's enough sometimes. You'll notice the paint starts moving on its own. Some areas get darker, some edges blur into each other. I actually like when the materials do something unexpected. It reminds me that I don't have to force every outcome. Now I'm adding some brown paint into the corners and letting the colors overlap. I'm also trying not to overfix things. That's usually the moment my perfectionism shows up. Right when something starts looking messy, I want to rescue it. I want to overwork it. But sometimes overcorrecting is what disconnects us from the experience. So instead of immediately fixing, I'm trying to pause, to stay with the discomfort a little longer, to let ugly things breathe. I'm going to pause here for a moment just to enjoy the painting, and I hope you do the same. So I decided to dab some of the paint with a paper towel to soften the colors and create texture. I love this part because it almost looks worn in afterward, like fabric that's been used over time. And there's something comforting about objects that don't feel brand new. Now the paint is drying, I'm going back in with a soft brown crayon and color pencil. I'm outlining the edges of the placemat and adding simple stripes and shapes across the page. Nothing needs to be even and nothing needs to match perfectly. You can let the lines wobble. You can let one side look different from the other. You can let it feel unfinished if it wants to. I think unfinished things can still hold meaning. There's this pressure online sometimes to present everything fully completed and aesthetically pleasing. But honestly, a lot of healing feels unfinished while we're inside it. A lot of creativity feels unfinished too. And maybe we're allowed to exist there sometimes. Not fully resolved, not fully polished, still becoming. Now I'm adding tassels around the edges of the placemat. This part takes a little longer, but it honestly became one of my favorite sections. The repetitive motion of drawing the tassels, adding tiny details, it started feeling meditative. And I think sometimes nervous system regulation looks less like calming down and more like gently staying connected to what you're doing. Not rushing yourself through it, not demanding a perfect result. Just staying with the experience long enough to actually feel yourself there. And as I was making this, I noticed how easy it is to dismiss supportive things because they seem simple, like they matter less. But even the things underneath us, supporting us quietly, still deserve attention too. Support doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes support looks like making tea, or sitting outside for 5 minutes, or joining a body doubling session, or finger painting badly, or making a tiny placemat for imaginary alien breakfast eggs. And honestly, that's kinda beautiful to me. Now I use a darker brown color pencil to add more details and textures. Sometimes heavily polished things feel emotionally far away to me, but handmade things, uneven things, imperfect things, they feel easier to approach. And I like the idea that even the objects underneath something can still matter. Not everything has to be the centerpiece. Sometimes the quietest things are what hold everything else together. Now I'm carefully cutting around the tassels. Take your time with this part. The details are where some of the fun lives. You don't have to make something impressive today. You can just make one small thing that helps your nervous system feel a little more held. And maybe that's enough for today. If you followed along, I'd genuinely love to know how your placemat turned out, or what colors you chose, or whether your inner critic showed up during the process. And once everything is cut out, the placemat becomes part of the cozy ugly table, a place where imperfect things belong together. When I placed last week's eggs on top of it, it weirdly made them feel more complete, more supported. Like the table is slowly becoming this collection of awkward, cozy, imperfect objects that somehow still belong together. Thank you for being here for week 5 of the Cozy Ugly collection. Keep it cozy, keep it ugly. I'll see you next week.